All right, so here we are again with another project. This one's going to be slightly different than the ones I've been doing. This is going to be all software development, and this is for a mobile application for phones or mobile devices. So this will be for Apple devices and Android devices, and I'm going to do them back to back. So actually at the same time. So I'll do one video for Android, and then the following video will be for the iPhone until we complete this application. I'm not sure how many videos this is going to take, but likely going to take like 4 or 5 videos. It's going to be a long project. Um, so I have the mock-up of the application, just a high overview of what this is supposed to do. Nothing on the background. That's going to be up to the developer how they want to handle the functionality. And obviously, you'll see how I'm going to handle it myself once I start writing the code. Just so you know, this video does not have any code. This is just going through the layout and explaining some of the functionality and the requirements. And on the following video, we'll start doing some coding and layout of the actual application. So we have 4 slides. And on the first slide, it's showing the two main screens for the application. This will be your landing screen, the main screen on your phone or device, and it will have a list of profiles that you have. A profile will be uh, a layout or a screen with existing controls ready to connect to a Bluetooth device. So this is a utility to connect to Bluetooth devices and connect to their services and consume characteristics. Uh, and this is meant so you do the configuration once, and every time you connect to a device, it will automatically reconnect, and your buttons or your controls should be wired so they always work with that control. It won't be like the other applications where you always have to reconnect and you have to navigate through the services and then type some hex number just to get some activity going. This will be, in a way, uh, a mechanism to have as many applications in one for your projects. The second screen here, this is where you do your design, your new layout design. And once you save it, you end up here. So this one has a settings menu that will provide a, uh, a menu screen where you can give it a name and other properties, and then you can save it. It has a clear menu to start from scratch and save to save it, obviously. At the bottom, we have a menu as well that you can tap and then it'll move up. So let's move to the next screen or the next slide. So this one is showing the new layout screen. So when you tap on this one, on this bar, it'll bring up a menu from below. And this menu will have a list of controls available for you to create your new design. So uh, the capability is to drag and drop the controls into your layout, and you should be able to drag as many as you want, duplicates if you need to. And each control, even the duplicates, will have its own menu, uh, its own properties, pretty much. And the controls themselves, they need to be able to be movable. So you want to be able to arrange them in any way you want, and you want to size them in any way you want as well. Properties would be, for example, the uh, you know X and Y coordinates, the position, the font. If we're talking about a button, for instance, the font of the button, uh, perhaps the color, what happens when you click it, what data goes back to the device, the Bluetooth device, and so on. So the uh, the controls themselves, they'll have access to their properties via a floating menu or maybe a new screen. That's going to be up to the developer. And the menu itself has the name of the control, description of what the button does. This can grow or shrink. This menu should be scrollable. So that means that if you have 20 properties, you should be able to scroll through those properties so you can make changes accordingly. And the menu should be able to draw the properties dynamically because the buttons will have different properties. So this menu should be able to lay out all those properties on the fly. Um, the menu has three buttons: one to delete, to tell the control to delete itself; cancel so no changes are done; and OK to tell the control that its properties have been updated and it should make changes accordingly. At the top, the settings menu. This one controls the connectivity and the name of the profile, along with the picture of the profile. So if we go back, this picture here of your profile, so this represents profiles, and this would be a picture and a name. So the picture here is taken from this menu. So when you bring down this menu, you'll have a button at the bottom that will give you access to the camera, take a picture of your Bluetooth device so you know that that profile is connected to that device, and then an OK button to close or dismiss the menu. The menu itself has a name for the profile, has a device. So this would be a drop down for the available Bluetooth devices within range, a drop down for the services that this device offers, and the characteristics that this service offers. So you select all of those three, and those will be the default connections for all the new controls you're going to drag into your profile. The controls themselves, however, they have, or they should have, the capability of selecting any service that this device provides and any characteristic to that service. So you can have multiple services, or you can be consuming multiple services and characteristics within the same design from any Bluetooth device. Let's go to the next slide. And again, let me just emphasize that the controls should be able to be arranged in any way and sized in any way uh, by simply just pinching or expanding, or just basic mobile device movements or gestures. Okay, next slide. So on the landing page where you have a list of existing profiles, by the way, this list should be scrollable. So as soon as you add enough profiles, you should be able to move up and down to see all the profiles available to you. So when you tap on one of the profile buttons, it'll take you to a new screen. This is for existing profiles. So once you have a profile, you save it. When you access a profile, it takes you to a screen that will regenerate and lay out the controls the way you designed them, the way you had them on the new profile or new connection screen. In this example, I have two buttons that were designed on the previous layout, and this is how I have them now. And the two buttons, they all have properties. I'm showing properties for the first button here. This is just a mockup. So in this instance, this button has a title LED on, and you can see that I'm setting the title here. Has a field BT and a value of 1, is attached to service serial and to the characteristic AT command. So what this would be saying based on this design is that I can change the title of the button here, and if I click it, it'll send to the Bluetooth device on this service, to this characteristic, a string saying BT1. So that would be going back to your Bluetooth device, right? So, and if I click delete, it should delete itself. cancel it, no changes, say okay, then it would tell the button that these properties were updated and it should update, make any updates based on the property change. The menu bar at the top, we have a way to go back to the main screen, and then we also have access to the settings menu where we can update the device if we want to connect to a different device with an existing profile, or change the service or the characteristic, right? And also to update the image if you want. You could also, in theory, by this design, if you change the name, should be able to save it into a brand new profile. So essentially saving a copy of that profile. Okay. You can delete the entire profile and you can lock unlock. So this menu here is meant to lock it. So when you press the button multiple times, this doesn't pop up. So the mechanism for this menu to pop up ideally would be double tap on a control. But once you have a profile, if you lock it, you double tap it, nothing happens, right? And the settings disappear, they become disabled. Now, obviously, it looks pretty simple, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and that's going to be up to the developer how they decide to handle those complexities. But we are going to address the one, which is the database here. So, pretty sure it's apparent that we need a database to keep all these settings to be able to pull those profiles. So let's go look to see how that's possibly going to look. So we'll have a database with three tables, one for the profile, the control, and the property. This is misspelled. In any case, properties. So the profile is pretty basic. It needs an ID, a name, description, an image, and a way to sort, maybe. The control or controls needs an ID. It needs the ID of the parent or the profile ID, the name of the control, the description of the control, the image of the control, sorting, and then size and position. So those are the basic requirements for a control. And then properties for the control itself. So it needs a way to link back to the control that it belongs to. So it needs a control ID, a name of the property, a value, type of the property. It could be a simple property, a complex property. How many types we're gonna have? I don't know. We'll see once we start creating controls for this. And obviously the type will mean that it may have different properties, some more complex than others. Some may be as simple as a label in an input box. Other ones might be a little bit more complex, where it might be a drop down, multiple fields, a delimiter, perhaps an image, an action, who knows, right? So the sky's the limit. And last is sorting. So we are going to need sorting in all of them in one way or another. So we need to add a field so we can specify how they're going to be sorted, because we can't sort by name or anything else, right? We have to be specific on how we design this. So the idea here is that this database is going to be used for two things. One is for every control we add on this menu, is going to reside in the database itself. So we will have a profile, likely named default, and that profile will have all the controls that can be drag and drop into a new layout, a new design, and all the properties belonging to that. And then every layout or every new design will have an entry for that profile, and then all the controls that belong to that new profile, and all the properties for those controls for this profile. All right, so that's pretty much for this video. Obviously, doesn't have any development yet, but it has a pretty much a vision of what we're trying to accomplish. So with this, we have a path of where we want to go from this. Is just now creating the logic. So that's going to be, again, like I said, it's up to the developer. If you want to follow me and do what I'm doing, just wait for the videos and uh, just follow what I'm doing on screen. I'm going to be uploading the code as I go as well, as it's being developed. Or if you want to do your own thing, following this layout, go ahead, knock yourself out. All right, so that's it. Enjoy. Hopefully tomorrow I'll have the first video. My intent is to upload 1 or 2 videos per week, so it won't be as long, but it's not gonna be a short project. Okay, enjoy.